Thank you, Sasha. I think we got everybody. Just inviting you to pull out your calendar for a second, and I don't mean literally, but we have a number of things coming up. Our next meeting is a month from tonight, Wednesday, March 27th. We're going to talk about business, the business of being in the media production business. If you have some ideas about what we should cover, my cards are back on the back tables, so grab one of those and send me an email or grab me after the meeting. Just let me know what's on your mind. You know, should we talk insurance? Should we talk about setting up an LLC? Should we, what should we cover? Like, what's the pulse of the room? Then I wondered, is anybody going to NAB? That starts April 6th. Awesome. I'm going to, so about half a dozen people are headed that way. So that's cool. Another date to have on your calendar is Saturday, April 27th. That's the day that we have penciled in for what we call Media Pro Camp. It's a Saturday, all-day event where we cover a number of topics, and we're in the process of planning that now. So since it's a Saturday, mark your calendar. And then another date to be aware of, if you are a producer especially, the Produced By Conference, which is put on by the Producers Guild of America, the PGA, is June 6th and 7th. About a half a dozen of us went up last year to that event. It's pricey, it's an investment, and it's also the best money that I spend every year as a producer. So that's just something to be aware of. Last year we carpooled. It's in Los Angeles. And I'm not sure what the venue is. They only just announced the dates this week. So it's a great event. So otherwise our meetings are the fourth Wednesday of the month, so keep us on your calendar for that. Normally at this point we do news you can use, but tonight instead Jeff Trober is going to talk to us for just a minute. There's a member of our media production community, Derek Johnston, who is in the midst of dealing with stage 4 kidney cancer, and we are doing a telethon for him. And Jeff, give us a few details about that. I know they're looking for crew.
Yes, we're looking for crew. It's called Jumpstart a Life. If you go to the Media Pros group page, I believe it is, I've posted a link to the Facebook page for this. It's coming up on March 16th. It's a 12-hour telethon from noon until midnight. But if you want a crew, you can even get there in the morning if you're a morning person and help us set up. We're looking for camera, probably grips, PA, whatever. So consider helping out on March 16th. Like I said, it's an all-day fair. It's at the Comedy Palace on Claremont Mesa Boulevard. So that's where the main events will be. We'll have talent. And if you're an entertainer, if you're an actor, comedians, whatever, we're looking for talent as well. So we have 12 hours to fill that day. So please consider taking a look at that. If you're just wanting to help out but you can't help out that day, please donate. You can go on the page and donate. Or if you have a company or an affiliated with a company that wants to do a sponsorship, you can do that as well. There may be some other people here who know Derek and may have more to say about that. I'm just speaking as a member of the production crew for this, but we could certainly use your help. Okay.
Great. Thank you. All right, now we've done introductions, we've talked about calendars. Let's get into tonight's program. And we're going to start first with a look at live streaming. We live stream this meeting every month. We have been doing that for about the last 8 months. And over that time, we have put together quite a setup, although when I say quite, it's actually pretty straightforward in terms of how to do this. So Tom Kinnaman,
yep,
and Sasha Doppelt, and did I say it correctly? Awesome. And Robin Martin are going to talk us through the SD Media Pros live streaming setup.
And first I'd like to introduce Jesse Arroyo.
Yes, I'm sorry, I forgot
This is
about
his
that.
joint here, and David, or Brian, I'm sorry, or Brian. But Jesse Arroyo, tell us about your facility.
Well, one, I want to say thank you on behalf of Crystal Production and the Vault. We're really honored that you are all here, and we're really excited. We opened this up about 12 months ago. Before there was a production company, and then the owners decided to do some construction, and obviously they were more focused on renting out the space for the vehicles and stuff like that. But they had this one green room in here, and so they reached out to me and said, hey, what's the value of this? And obviously, as you all know, it's a huge value. So I was able to work something out with them and constructed all that and was able to put a lighting grid. So we are excited because we haven't had a chance to really explore too much on the advertising part. But I think within a month or two, we're going to be doing that. So if you have any questions regarding about the rental space, feel free to contact me or talk to me. We're also going to be providing services of rental and even services on excuse me. Yeah, go ahead, Phil. Right, I wish. One day, maybe someday we can. So, but yes, we're honored and thank you so much.
Great. Yeah. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you. I want to do a little shout out to Phil Ferrari. Also, Phil introduced me to Jesse and helped set the things in motion. And it's always inspiring when other people see our mission and see where we're going and our efforts, and it's community. It's community. Let's just keep building it. Just show up. Show up to meetings. It's easy, once a month. Come to a meeting, meet more people, talk more, talk more. You meet somebody every month, start to know them a little bit better, start to figure things out, and things happen. But you got to commit. There's a little bit of effort to stay involved. And I mean, that's why I got involved, because I felt like if I just came to meetings, it wouldn't be enough. So I got a little more involved, and now I'm over involved. So what are you going to do? So with that said, the whole streaming side of our evening, really Robin Martin put it all together. I said, hey, I can do multi-camera. He said, well, we can put that on the web. So I said, let's do it. And I'm going to toss it over to Robin now, and he's going to talk you through some of the vital steps of the streaming side of things, and then we'll talk briefly about the type of gear that we use in this instance. Thank you, Martin. Martin, thanks.
All right, we are going to talk tech for a minute, because from everybody's introductions today, it sounds like there's quite a few of you that are looking for that kind of crucial first step on how you get started streaming. So we're going to talk about some very, very basic options, some high-end options, and we'll spend some time walking you through a little bit of our setup here, so that you have an idea of what it will take for you to then be able to take Walter's great advice that's coming up next to start to implement this and put it out there on YouTube. So there are a range of options these days. The easiest of which is Facebook Live. You've probably all seen those feeds pop up. You get those nice notifications. YouTube Live is another free option, essentially. And then you can go up to paid services such as Ustream or Wirecast. So the free-ish option that every single person probably in this room could do right this second and start a live stream if they wanted to is to pull out your cell phone, open Facebook, and go live. And you can do that right now. I'm not telling you to do that right now, but you could do that right now. You can reach a big audience very, very quickly, and the nice thing is Facebook pushes those notifications out. So people get alerted as soon as you go live, and they'll hop on and start watching you. The challenge that you're going to have here is audio and video quality. Audio primarily is going to be difficult unless you spend some time figuring out how to get a lapel mic or something else into your phone or into your webcam. The video quality is going to be a little bit on the low side as well, but it's quick, it's easy, and it's essentially free once you've already bought your phone. On the complete opposite end of the spectrum, we have enterprise type options. So these are options that take professional cameras, they take professional video switchers, take them through a dedicated hardware streaming box, and send them up to a service such as Wirecast or Ustream. You have complete control of the content with these setups. Rock solid platforms. It is a professional platform that is designed to do this all day long for big conferences, crucial events like that, things that where people have paid to watch content. But it's very expensive to get up and running. That's probably not something that everybody coming right out of the gates would go and do. And you're also challenged somewhat on the monetization. You can't run ads on your videos and things like that. So that leaves us with the middle ground, which is what we're going to call the pro option that we have kind of adopted for our meetings here. So we can take those same professional camcorders or video cameras that a lot of us are using in our production lives. We're going to run that through some hardware that takes those video and audio signals and puts them together, lets us do some switching, and then uses a piece of software on a laptop or a computer that you already have, and then sends that up to YouTube Live so that you can start to stream that content out there. One of the key considerations is that Wi-Fi won't cut it. You really need to get a hardwired connection as much as possible. So these little things are going to be your friends if you're on any sort of a modern Apple laptop where they keep taking away your ports. You need to have these dongles. Wi-Fi will work, and we've done it for past meetings, but you see dropouts. You see the quality go down in the video because it can't maintain a steady level of throughput of the audio and video content. It's going to drop in and out. So if you want good quality, you need to make sure you have a wired connection. So for YouTube, there's really just two key steps to get started. You need to enable your channel for live streaming. And the first hurdle that you're going to run into there is that it must be in good standing. So if you've ever had flags on your YouTube channel, if they've ever come after you for copyright infringement, if you're posting your favorite song by that pop artist and you get a takedown notice, you get a couple of those or other sorts of infractions, you won't be able to go live. YouTube is trying to make sure that the live platform is good quality, is friendly to advertisers and other people that want to participate on their platform, so you need to be in good standing. The other thing you have to watch out for is you can't say, okay, enable my account for Go Live and go live that same day. You need to allow still 24-ish hours for YouTube to enable your channel to go live, which is just another way they make sure that you're on the up and up and you're not just going to be doing something illegal live on the internet. The second piece is getting what's called a streaming key. So this is the piece of information that says, this is my channel, and this is my unique password essentially for my channel that then a third-party piece of hardware or software can use to send the content and show it in YouTube. In terms of hardware setup, you can see here we've got two cameras. Each of those cameras has a video feed that's going into a switcher, SDI. The key piece is that second bullet there, which is that picture in the lower left corner. That is an HDMI to USB converter. What that lets us do is to take the program out, the HDMI out of the switcher, and then get that into the computer in a way where it sees it as another webcam. So you're doing all the switching and control through the hardware and software there. That one little piece is what gets it into the computer so that it can then be streamed. Here I'm going to throw it over to Tom to talk about this particular hardware setup that he has put together over the past year or so, year and a half, and kind of
more than that, actually.
Kind of grown this piece up.
Thank you. So I had a client that we built a studio for, and we were doing live productions and using Blackmagic products. That was a 1080i 720p platform. There were ways to record there, but primarily we were going live, converting it with that magic device, that Magwell device, which takes all of this switching and makes the computer think it's a webcam. That's really what it all boils down to. So what I've done now just recently, and there are other products, there are other ways to go. Wirecast, frankly, I've been lusting after the Wirecast situation for a long time, because that's a completely built-in switcher with sports ability, and it takes care of turning the signal from H.264 into what the computer, again, thinks is a webcam. And but this situation has just grown through the years, the way we're handling it. And I have upgraded recently to the ATEM production 4K. Generally speaking, I do multi-camera HDMI with this, but it can do any iteration, 2.5K, 2K, up to 4K. And then I also am recording now also, because some of the work that I do we don't go live all the time, we record. So you need a high quality recorder. And again, I went to Blackmagic, and this is a Video Assist 4K. And it has turned out to be very high quality. It's recording in ProRes. So some of the other recorders, I mean, you can go through OBS and record H.264 to an internal hard drive or an external hard drive. And I have done that, and it's not bad. It's H.264. It's not bad, but for my purposes, I felt I needed a little extra bump in quality. And it edits better because it's already in ProRes. Anything other than that was always H.264. So it's hard to tell if you're really seeing it, and it is going on the web, so it's one way or the other. The other thing that happened is that now we can run everything through a board, where before my older version, we had to actually fool it and run it through the SDI out of the camera. And that worked, but this is just a little bit better quality. Typical setup that you see for switching, we only have 2 cameras. Sometimes there's 3 plus a computer, and but it gives you preview and program, typical setup. And that kind of all boils it down. It all comes down into the OBS, so that, you know, the switcher picture there that you're dealing with, it's software based. You can use, when I'm producing, I'm cameraman, and are we getting a switch here? Yeah. So I'm cameraman and technical director, and I use this portable. So it's really handy. Just really handy. It just makes it all work. I'll give it back to you, Sasha. Any questions real quick on that? Phil? Well, again, if you're talking about streaming, the bandwidth is all about what the web will handle, right? That has nothing to do with producing. But if you want to do a multi-camera switch with this rig, you can work up to 4K. You're not going to. Well, again, if you're talking bandwidth, you're talking about streaming. That's a secondary aspect of it. And in this configuration, we're 1080p, and that's what we're sending out. And I don't think you'd want to send more than that out. I don't think it would manage it. So there's a limitation in terms of being live. It's just what your bandwidth would handle. You wouldn't necessarily stream 4K. The 4K is for recording. So if you were doing a production and you wanted to record 4K, and as most of us do now, we record in 4K and then we post into a 1080p timeline. It gives you all those options. That still would be a viable way to go with this particular rig. Question, Luke? I don't know. And one more question, and then we're going to move on. Yes. Laptop. How much does a laptop cost? $1,650 for the 4K. My recorder there was $900. I shopped around and I got B stock. Still works. I mean, in my pro years, we never bought anything but B stock when there was beta cams and stuff, ever, always. So, you know, this stuff is relatively bulletproof. So anything else to add?
We're going to hold questions for just
Yes,
a moment,
yeah,
get through a little bit more,
Yes.
and then we'll wrap up with a couple more questions. So
Yeah,
hang on
we
for
want to
just
get
one moment.
to our speakers.
Sasha, did you want to speak to what your kind of action is over there briefly while we're here?
Sure. Let's see. Oh, give me a sec while I switch camera shots here. There we go. Hi. So basically, we have 2 laptops here, and one of them is Tom's to run kind of like the digital switching interface. So if you were in a studio and there was a physical switcher, yes, right there. So I'm looking at that, and basically all I'm doing there, it has beautiful keyboard shortcuts. So today we only have 2 cameras, so I press the one button on on the keyboard, and it puts camera 1 in my preview monitor, or 2 in my preview monitor, and then I just switch it with the space bar. So it's super easy once you get all the shortcuts and the buttons configured. And then on my laptop here, I am running another program that shows me just the program, so just what's coming out to the stream, and I can monitor some of the settings, like I can monitor the audio and tell it to start streaming and stop streaming, and each of these programs has, multiple settings you can go into and tweak things to configure it to your liking. And just to go back to the ATEM software control, if you kind of get deeper into it, you can do all sorts of cool things like add lower thirds and graphics and, be fading to black and up from black, and probably you could even do the star wipe if you really wanted to. So, I think that's it.
Excellent. Thank you, Sasha.
Anything else, Robin?
Yep. So a couple last things on the software side. We've said OBS a couple times. That's Open Broadcaster Software. It's the piece that takes that video input coming through the USB adapter and then turns it into a streaming video signal. So here's where you would go in, and you probably can't see it at all from that screenshot, but here's where you have a chance to dial in your bit rate. So if you're streaming at 1080 or higher, you have a chance to do that and make it match quality versus the speed you can actually get. So that's where you push the button to start streaming, and then you're ready to go back into YouTube and go through their live steps, make sure you have a good connection, and hit the start streaming button, and you're live. In terms of hardware, there's one other option that I wanted to throw out that's not quite this for getting started, but look for something called the Blackmagic Design Web Presenter. It's a $500 box. It'll take SDI and HDMI inputs and then give you that USB out. So it sort of combines all these pieces and the USB adapter into a single box. So that's something else to consider if you're looking to step up into the next tier.
So I spent too much?
No, you spent what you needed to do multicam. The Blackmagic Web Presenter can only take 1 video input, 2 video inputs technically, but it's not a clean switch, so you're going to get dropouts and it gets weird when you switch, but it lets you get started. All right, so now we'll take some overall questions for this, and then we want to make sure we have plenty of time for Walter to talk about his marketing approach. So yeah, go ahead. Good question. You want to pass?
As far as the pricing is concerned, you'd mentioned that there was the laptop and the 4K, and then there was like a third item that you mentioned at the beginning.
There's a recorder.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Anybody else? Good. All right. Anybody else?
Onward. No.
That's it? Okay. Well, thank you for that portion of it. So you can see that's a side of it, right? And I would think once you get into managing your YouTube channel, you may want to go live on occasion. So at this point, I would like to introduce Walter, and Walter, you're going to have to introduce yourself a little bit. I'm sorry. And I'm going to turn your microphone on. Let's be sure it's on here. It's there. And I'm a professional. It's on. Okay? I have touched people in strange places. All right. This mic is working. There we go. Good. Good.
Am I picking up?
You are picking up.
All right.
Everybody give a hand to our presenter this evening.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. I see a lot of friends here. There's people here I've worked with in the past and have been honored to have you on my set. I look forward to someday working with many more of y'all. My name is Walter Noasad. I'm a YouTuber. Why do we not have display here? Can we bring up the screen, Tom?
You might need to toggle it. It's plugged in. You might need to toggle it.
Stand by.
One lighting. Wake up. Wake up.
All right, let me toggle this.
Remember the old Channel 3 on the VCR? You'd be in a presentation. A guy would walk up there. It's a blue screen. All All right, one more thing I can do. That's not working anyway, so screw it. The modern day blue screen. Dun, 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 dun. Everybody,
Go ahead.
it's in. It's directly plugged in. Yeah. There we go.
Okay, that's a good sign. Come on, be there.
Blink, blink, blink. Please wait.
Magic, okay.
There we
great.
go.
Just took a snap of the fingers. That's all it took. That's all I need, a snap of the fingers. Okay. So I want to say, first of all, that I'm not an employee of YouTube, Google, nor do I represent the company whatsoever. The information I'm going to share tonight is based on my experience with YouTube. There's some things, I had an opportunity to meet a lot of you and talk to you beforehand, and I want to share some things before we get started. One of you mentioned, my YouTube channel is rubbish. I want to let you know it's okay. It's okay if it's rubbish. YouTube is very forgiving. You can change. You can always change whatever's on your channel. You can always hide what's on your channel. You can delete your videos. You can make them private so that nobody can see them. You can hide it such that you've got the URL, and anybody you give that URL to would be the only ones who could view the video. So if you're worried about that, there's a couple different solutions for you. The one thing that YouTube doesn't offer that the Vimeo platform does offer is password protection. So if you needed a password protect something, which I do quite a bit with the TV reels that I create, I'm going over to Vimeo. So for YouTube, it's where security isn't as tight, where you might be stepping on certain copyright things and you don't want to have out there and get a strike, Vimeo might be a solution for you. Not that I'm advocating you step on anybody's copyright issues. And as long as I'm talking about that, it was mentioned earlier about notifications on YouTube will look at your stream to make sure you're not doing anything illegal. They don't want you getting any, they want to make sure you're not using any copyrighted property. If you are, you'll get a notification takedown. This is called a strike in the YouTube community. You're allowed 3 strikes and then you're out. Just last week, the YouTube insiders presented a video on changes to the policy where you might have new people come in, and I think this is a result of YouTube listening to its creators going, hey, hang on a second, there's a lot of rules you've got out there. Give the new guys a chance. So what they're doing now is they're kind of giving you a warning. Hey, warning, this is violating community guidelines, or this is ordinarily a copyright strike. You might want to go back and read the rules. So a lot of what I talk about tonight are the rules a bit, what you need to be aware of so that you're not going in with certain unreasonable expectations. So again, 3 strikes, especially with copyrights, and they just boot you. On the streaming audio, I seem to recall they do want to have you in good standing. So good standing means you don't have any community guideline warnings, you don't have any strikes against you. If you get a strike, it's not the end of the world typically. That 3 strikes you out goes over a 90-day period, so you're kind of put in the penalty box for a while. They may take away your ability to live stream for a while. They may take away your ability to upload and reduce your access. But after that time goes by, they usually take the strikes away. But in particular, with the community guidelines, they'll take them away. But with the copyrights, it's kind of like their version of traffic school. You know how you get a ticket? You can either go to court or pay the fine and go to traffic school. A lot of people opt to go to traffic school. YouTube's version of that is copyright school. Go take a class. You can help get that first strike absolved. But thereafter, you expect to stay clean, right? And I'll get into more about the copyright stuff a little later on. Let's see, I took some other notes here. Some of you I talked to were a little hesitant. Maybe you're just thinking about what to do to get started. One of you mentioned somebody who was not transitioning, but expanding from their huge Instagram audience into the YouTube side. And I'd never really considered that, but I think it's worthy of at least bringing it up here. So imagine having 30,000 followers on Instagram. You're probably making some money over there, but now you want to go over to YouTube. Those followers don't necessarily equate to automatic subscribers over on the YouTube world. You can make money on YouTube. I did a presentation on this last April at the San Diego Filmmakers, and I'll touch on a little bit of that just now. To qualify for monetization, they've also recently changed the qualifications for this as well. You need to have still 1,000 subscribers minimum, but they've added on that you need to also have accumulated over the past 12 months 4,000 watch hours. That equates to about 276,000 viewer minutes over a 12-month period of time. Currently, I have about 24,000 subscribers on my channel, and I'm accumulating 4,000 watch hours in about 6 days on my channel. I am not working that hard. The last time I posted a video of any significance was about 6 months ago. There are other creators out there who are working really hard at it. They are turning the crank. They're like some of these news people. You know, they're just feeding this insatiable beast every day because they're creating content that's topical, and they have to stay on top of the news and something new, and they're probably killing themselves, you know, trying to do something every day. We'll get a little bit about scheduling later on, but it's something that you want to think about as you move forward with what kind of a channel that you want to build and the kind of topics you want to go into. But you can monetize, and that by most creators who are doing anything is considered just icing on the cake. There are other ways to make money. I'm just going to glaze over the top of this. You can rent videos. You can, you know, if you've got a substantial followership, you may choose to go after branded deals. You know, I'm wearing a suit today from Nordstrom's. Maybe Nordstrom's would like to sponsor me on my channel. You go cut a deal with them, and they may sponsor one of your videos. That's where the lion's share of most of the money's coming from these bigger YouTubers. Okay, that gets me into the introduction. So, again, I'm not an employee of YouTube, but I do want to share a bit of my story and how I got here. I've been a YouTuber for 9 years, and I'm this dapper fellow there on the left side with sporting the tie. That's me in high school. I've been in drama and performing arts for most of my life. After high school, I went into the military and got into the United States Military Police Corps. This is my platoon from basic training in Fort McClellan, Alabama. After this, I got sent overseas to Germany. That was me when I first got my PFC rank. 3rd Infantry Division. I spent a few years overseas earning money for college. After I got out, I went to, this is the first time I jumped out of a helicopter. My dad told me, don't jump out of perfectly good aircraft. I said, okay, I won't. That was one of the first things I did. This is my best Billy Badass pose. How that guy turned on that, I don't know. That was a year later. At Sac State, I jumped back into the military, stupid. ROTC, I wound up being a platoon leader for a unit in San Jose, California. I was in the rowing team. I putzed around for a few years after that, went to Heald Institute of Technology, acquired a degree in electronics technologies and in networking technologies, which I leveraged into a job with EDS, which was a company of HP for a while, and then shortly after they merged, I got laid off. I was with EDS for 10 years as a systems administrator. I've been a manager, and I have a keen interest in technology and flying saucers and all kinds of weird stuff. My channel is about people with stories of high strangeness. When I first started, it was a passing curiosity because I was finding a lot of strange stories online. I was wondering, could this be true? What if this guy over here, who was talking about in 1960, he got on a flying saucer that was built in Apple Valley, California, and it worked, and the government came by and confiscated it. In 2011, I inserted myself between this man, Ralph Ring, and this other group called Pods, who were trying to reverse engineer flying saucers. These are a couple slides from a presentation by Mike Gamble on anti-gravity. You'll see some other illustrations here of computer drawings, CAD drawings of certain designs we were pursuing on how to create flying saucers, how to make levitation, anti-gravity devices. This is most recent from last October, November, from a person overseas. I had developed, as a result of building my YouTube channel, I built a team of engineers who were keenly interested in developing this. I'm not an engineer. I'm a technician with a keen interest. And this is what they developed. This is what they're building. I was very public about this. I had a website which provided all the information to anybody who wanted it. Then I got a phone call in October, November. And I was told, think very carefully about what's most important about your future. There will be no second warnings, just consequences. And from then, I had to discontinue. I called the engineers. I said, I'm out. They were very disappointed. I told them, I can't afford to know what you're doing. The day I called them, they were very excited about certain things that had developed. I said, stop. I can't afford to know. So for me, I'm hoping that they will continue. I believe that they are continuing, but I can't tell you for sure, but I'm out. This was 8 years of my life, and all of it was on YouTube, and I had to figure out what I was going to do different. I have a friend who works for a famous personality on the radio. I won't say who, but I brought this to this person. I said, look, I need some help. I need to find somebody else that I can interview. And that person provided me some links, and I've gone ahead just last week, 1 week ago tonight, I shot my newest interview, and I'm looking forward to bringing it to the world. This is from a retired lawyer. He worked for the government. He's had a lifetime of contacts with extraterrestrials. So it's kind of in the same scope of what I've been doing. And here's just a flash of my channel up here. Search for Truth Reality is the name of my channel. YouTube is not television. There are some distinct things that set it apart from TV. Namely, it is an interactive advertising platform. If you want to build a channel and you're a business owner, you want to use it to your advantage, you keep this in mind. YouTube was started out as a fun thing, and it kind of moved into more of the advertising thing. But as a result of that, what are people going to YouTube for? They're going there for fun, information, entertainment, how to replace a wiper blade on the back end of a Buick, whatever. So think in terms of that, of what you can do if you're going to decide to build a channel. What can you do to bring value to your customers? All right. There's a gentleman by the name of Tim Schmoyer. He's got a channel out there called Video Creators. He offers this secret guide to building your YouTube audience. Free guide. It's a 25-page guide. Wonderful information, and this thing is offering it for absolutely free. So some of the information I'm going to share with you tonight isn't from my head. I'm going to share some of the high points that come from him. I'll give credit where credit is due. And we'll start with this. He compares TV to YouTube. Television is mostly self-benefit. YouTube is a social benefit. So if you think about the producers, the directors, and the people who stand to gain the most, they're doing it to benefit themselves. With YouTube, you share in that benefit, especially if you can monetize. And especially if you can offer value. TV is pretend, YouTube is authentic, character-centric versus viewer-centric. Watch this versus join this. It's a community. It's not always about you, it's about us. Think in YouTube as a community. It's about all of us coming together. With television, it's about the shows, and with YouTube, it's about the community. So you can go to courses.videocreators.com and download that guide. Okay, 3 strikes and you're out, right? Read, understand, and abide by the terms of service. When you first sign up for a YouTube channel, you're going to have the terms of service link right there. And with anything that you want to do online, they typically have this long legal thing that you have to read. Do take the time to read it. Even if you want to skip through it just to get started, that's okay too, but do tread lightly. Community guidelines, you'll want to learn those as well. The nice thing about YouTube is it's easy to find any information that you want or need. Any questions that you have, you can easily find. You can Google a question and find it. It'll probably take you to a YouTube solution. You'll want to read and understand the copyright rules. And I alluded that to a little bit already. One person asked me about music, using other people's music. YouTube has this audio library that you can use, and it's free music. There's some popular music in there as well. All you got to do is search for it, and it'll tell you what the requirements are for those songs. If you want to use it, they'll tell you globally you can't use it anywhere. And if you use it and you upload it to your channel, you're going to wind up getting a copyright strike. Probably not a good thing for the livelihood of your channel. 3 strikes and they will terminate your account. Let's see, for those of you who are performing musicians, covers, you know what covers are, right? Where you play the tune. Some of these songs will let you do a cover for what they call a monetization split. So you still get, for your performance, you get half of whatever monetized ad revenue, and you would split it with the the copyright owner of that song. And as you move on through YouTube, as you build your channel, if that's something you want to do to develop a larger viewership, develop more subscribers, you're gonna have more and more benefits come your way, and they do have other policies associated with these certain benefits that you want to take advantage of. And all that information's out there, and it's like peeling an onion. It'll be revealed to you as you need it. There's a website here that I put down really quick. This is just a quick shot of one of those sites. Easily navigable. Some of you I talked to, I asked you why you were here, what are you hoping to get out tonight? A lot of you are just looking for the basics. When I first put this video presentation together, I was thinking I wanted to do something different from what I did at Filmmakers. You were there. We had a nice conversation about branding, and I've had a lot of opportunity to look at branding since then. But I felt I would be appealing more to a business-minded audience, and that's more the direction I tried to go. But it seems that a lot of you just haven't got a YouTube channel. You're just fresh or brand new. Whether you're fresh or brand new or not, this is going to be some valuable information for you. Just the basics. First of all, you got to create a channel. If you're a business owner, you don't want to own a channel, but you want to advertise on YouTube, guess what? You can do that too. Just get good at creating a 6-second ad, a 15-second ad, a 30-second ad, 45-second ad, a 1-minute ad. These are things that you can go to YouTube and go, hey, yes, this is the demographic I'm looking for. This is the region I'm looking for. This is the age group I'm looking for. These are the keywords I'm looking for. I'm looking for people involved in athletics, whatever it is. They can break it down for you. All right? All that stuff's out there for you. You don't have to create a YouTube channel. But if you do, let's go forward. Basics, create a channel. Produce and upload valuable content. Oh my gosh. What's valuable content? How do I put a windshield wiper on the back of my Buick? That's one example, right? I had to replace a garbage disposal, at my house. Where was I? I'm online looking for it. Invariably, somebody's on YouTube teaching how to do this stuff. Reflect on your own businesses. What is it that you have that you know that you might want to share with your client base? That's fine. So it went on to automatic here. So you saw Les Grossman up there. Getting ahead of myself here, that's fine. So anyway, my point is you want to think about what it is in your business. What it is you want to promote or sell. People just starting a YouTube channel, a lot of them are from this attitude. Show me the money. That's all they care about. If this is the first and only thing you're thinking about, you'd be in store for some disappointment because you need to be offering value first. Making money in YouTube is a byproduct of attracting and interacting with your community. You've got to have a community to interact with them first, right? Well, look at this. We've got a free guide. Let me take a look at that and figure out how to build it. Start with a vision or goal. Your vision or goal shouldn't be to make money at first. I mean, it's nice to have, but that shouldn't be your first thing. As a business owner, these are probably some of the things that you might want to think about getting into business. Starting a YouTube channel, raise awareness, inform, entertain, teach, establish yourself as an authority. I think that's a big one, especially in this business, right? Are you an authority for sound, for audio, for production, for writing? How do you do that? How do you connect with an audience? I'm a writer. What can I share with potential audiences? Other writers, customers. You know what's interesting, I found, is that the more that you show yourself online, the more people tend to trust you. The more they trust you, the more they want to give you their money. I've had people write to me going, I want to donate to your channel, but I don't want Google to get anything. What's your address? Here's my P.O. box. You can send a check there. That's fine. There are other options too. You can go Patreon or some other crowdfunding campaign as well to give them an avenue. If they want it, hey, I'll take your money. It's a way to do it. So, yeah, maybe you just want to start a conversation. I think this is more along, when looking at this list of things, it feels to me more like PR almost, like you're self-promoting. Who are you in your business? How do you promote your brand and your image? What is branding? You know, it goes beyond the art, doesn't it? It goes beyond those descriptive words that describe who you are, the integrity of your business, doesn't it? Right? How can you convey that in a video? Nuts and bolts. Here are the basics. Have you thought about your channel name? If you're going to build a channel, do you have a name for it? Mine's called Search for Truth Reality. What's it about? My channel is about providing long-form content about people with crazy stories. Crazy stories of high strangeness. What sets you apart from the rest? The thing that sets me apart from the rest, there are people out there who inspire me to do what I'm doing, aside from my intense curiosity about this stuff. And I looked at what they were doing, and I go, I could do that better. I felt I could do it better. The one thing that sets me apart is that I listen better. I let people tell their stories without interrupting or interjecting. Channel trailer. Do you know what a channel trailer is? It's like a little advertisement you can have. It's a video that runs that describes the content of your channel. This is the sort of thing that you can change periodically, because as you grow, your content may change and grow, and you may have to update that. Channel icon and watermark. The channel icon follows you on every single post that you make on YouTube. It's that little icon that represents who you are. Create a piece of work for it, otherwise you're going to get a default letter in there, W for Walter, what have you. Put something artful in there. A watermark is it's a watermark overlay that appears in the lower right-hand corner of all the videos. It's not burned in, but it appears there in the corner, the lower right corner of the player. Channel art, that's the banner that appears across the top. I went for 6 years without any art, without any icons, without any watermarks, trying to figure out what I was going to do. Channel schedule. This one, people can get burned out on YouTube by doing too much. I had to kind of assess, about what my speed is, and I'm good doing, if I'm lucky, putting out one video a month, I'm doing really good. Other people are more like, once a week or twice a week. That, for me, is too much work. So when you're looking at your video and you start setting out a schedule, you're going to be setting expectations with your viewers. If you go off that schedule, they're going to know. They're going to notice. Produce and upload valuable content. And this is from Tim Schmoyer as well. Why should I watch your video? Is it worth my time? Why should I care about the person in your video? What makes you unique? Why would I want to watch it? Information, entertainment, education. Is it a product review? Is it how-to? What have you? Create something of value. Offer something of value. You have to give stuff away to get. Okay, hold on to your hats. In terms of production quality, is it important or not important? I want you to take a look at this short clip and you tell me.
Well, first thing they did was give me a bunch more files to go through.
All right, we're not getting the audio out. Stand by. No, it's coming out through my speakers, and I set it to the HDMI. Hang on, let me go and reset it. Stand by. No, I got it. I don't know why it's sent back. No, I went to speakers for some reason. That's weird. Where is it? Here it is right here. Now that'll be the projector. Are you supporting the sound from the projector to the speakers?
So, in order to make that happen, you can do it right here, actually. Take that out of your computer.
Okay, from Okay, let's do it that way.
I had a shorty here somewhere. Oh, this goes the wrong way anyway. No, I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries. We'll just go ahead and fly with this.
Yeah.
I'll turn the volume up as loud as I can.
We'll put a microphone by it.
Okay, now let me, all right, the jokes are coming out too soon.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, first thing they did was give me a bunch more files to go through, different flying saucer landings and stuff like this. And I said, why am I getting all these things? Because, you know, I was curious. I'm here at the Pentagon against my will.
So, I mean, was that good? Was it bad? Does it really matter? Not so good? How come? Lighting, background. Yeah. So this is Monkey with a camera. I was brand new. I did not want to be in front of the camera. Black backdrop in a hotel in the middle of a blizzard. This is a copy of a copy. This is a copy of a low-resolution copy, actually. After my hard drives crashed, I lost the originals. But the sound quality is actually pretty good. So let me show you how this video actually performed.
I think it's pretty cool. It adds credibility here.
Oh, the roughness of it?
Yeah.
Did you see that black bar across the top? Yeah. So look at this. 11,437,000 viewer minutes since its inception. This is my #1 video on YouTube. #1. This is 3 hours and 50 minutes of footage in 2 parts. You know, if some of you may have gone online, I certainly had. Well, what's the ideal length? You know, and you'll see people, oh, you know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, keep it short. Phooey. Make it as long as it needs to be. Most of my videos are 1 hour to 2 hours in duration. I have people binge watching my stuff. I got an airplane. I flew to Colorado. I landed in a snowstorm. This guy picks me up. He's wearing this garb, and he's got this on, and he's got a friend with her, and she's got one on. I'm going, okay, how's this going to go? And he's walking along, swish, 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 swish. You know, oh, this is going to be good for sound. You can hear him, you know, when he's sitting there moving around. So we go into, it's just me and my gear. Have you seen like the Ari kits? They're about this big. They weigh 100 pounds. You know, I've got that. I've got my, you know, tripod holder. I've got my case for my camera, you know, plus my luggage. And it's just me. I don't have a crew. It's just me. You know, and he takes me to the hotel, I unload all this stuff, put it in the hotel room. You know, I set it up. We go to dinner, and we're the only ones there because it's a blizzard. And he goes, now all I'd ever seen of this guy was online once, you know, and he was wearing this thing I could barely see it. I didn't even notice he had it on. But when I reflected on it later, oh yeah, I guess he actually had it on. And he takes it off. He slides it across the table. And he goes, you want to try it? I mean, how many guys do you see wearing a hat? Do you ask him, you know, hey, can I try your hat? You know? And I figured, well, you know, when Rome does, the Romans do. And I accommodated the guy, and I put it on. And as soon as I put it on, I felt this overwhelming sense of bliss overcome me. And it was just like an exponential curve that went like this. And I felt so good. I felt so, all the stress melted away. I can't explain it. I cannot explain it. And I looked at him. I said, Bill, you realize, don't you? You're not getting this back. This one actually isn't his. This was shot in 2012. I posted it in 2016. This was going to use clips for this for a TV show I was creating, and it took some time to get it released from the media company I was with. And when I did, it just exploded. It took off. He told me, oh, you're going to get hundreds of thousands of views. I'm like, yeah, right. He was right. This guy has such a huge following, you wouldn't believe. It's just incredible. So here you go. Look at the average duration. The average view duration on the first part is 24 minutes. The average view duration on the second one is 37 minutes. The average view duration of all my videos combined is about 27 minutes, which is pretty good. All right, let's go to the next one after that. Make your content advertiser friendly. I mean, use the television as a guide. You know, if you're going to post content out there, I've got another one coming up. So, yep. Yeah, kind of echoing everything. Yep. You know, make it advertiser friendly, and YouTube has got some guidelines for that. I'm not going to read all these to you, but just know that you know, they do have guidelines that you want to follow. It's the basic stuff: no pornography, no profanity, you know, that sorts of thing. There's some things that are borderline that are considered like for like adult audiences. And when you upload your channel, just be sensitive to that. They have a little box there, a tick mark for 18 and over. You know, just make sure you're doing that. And when you do that for the adult content, if you're intending on monetizing your video, know that there's a set of advertisers out there who don't want their ads running against content that's designed for adult audiences. And this is part of some of the changes that YouTube has made in the last few years after advertisers were finding that recruiting for ISIS was running against their videos. So they have these guidelines here. They're all out there for you to read. Here you go. Here it is right here. The advertising-friendly content guidelines, they're all here. Simple, easy to consume information, best practices. Down here at the bottom, you'll see a link to Creator Academy. It's called Creator Insider now. Excellent YouTube channel, lots of help. So we covered creating a YouTube channel, producing and uploading content. Next up, out of the 4 steps, is to promote and share. We'll start with promote. This is the back end side of YouTube. So when you become a YouTube creator, you have access to this thing called Studio. This is Studio Beta. We have 2 versions of Studio just now. They're getting everybody to try to transition over to the new version. So from here, you go down, you scroll through your list of videos. You look in the left column there, you see I've got highlighted videos. And you have a little vertical ellipsis here. When you click on that, you have options. And you'll see right there in the middle, promote. Promote, when you click on that, opens this up. Now we're going to go down another rabbit hole. You thought YouTube was a deep rabbit hole. Here's another one. I chose not to pursue this, but you can. If you choose to pay for having your video promoted because you want more people to see you, for good reason, I'm sure, to promote your business, for them to see your ads so they understand you're a trusting person to give their money to, maybe you want to promote it. Put that in your advertising budget. Look at this. You get to choose how your ad will appear, your target location, your target audience, and how much you want to spend. Put a dollar amount in there, and once it's gone, they stop. Then you can measure how well it did. Oh, I like that. Well, let's give them some more money. You can jump back in and continue promoting it. Here's an article I found on how to promote your YouTube videos with Google AdWords. Socialmediaexaminer.com, how to promote your videos with Google AdWords. This article here shows you the entire interface. The rabbit hole I didn't want to run down. Okay, if you want to, you can have a look at that. YouTube offers a tremendous amount of training and lots of information. Whether you're an advertiser or a new YouTuber starting out, I recommend you look this up and read this. There's a lot of excellent inspirational information here at the Playbook for Creative Advertising. YouTube Basics, Creative Studio, Media Plan, Top Line. These are the 4 sections of that YouTube site. The URL is there at the bottom. I'll show you a link to how to get to all this stuff, where to start. Let's do this. Let's go to here. All right, so here's, let's just go to the YouTube channel. This is my channel here. If I were to sign in, come on, you. I have to sign into Access to be able to see the menu. So once you have a channel set up, you'll have these, this menu on the left column here will appear. Down the bottom. Hi, and welcome to Search for Truth Reality. Okay, that's my trailer running. Explore this area down here, all about copyright, advertise, developers, creators. Here's where you want to go to creators. And by following that link, this just opens up everything on HelpWise. This will get you to everything that you want to learn about anything, about all the policies and all the help and support. Support and guidance is over here on the left. You just scroll through these here. Here's your help center. There's a help forum from the community. Take me there to the help center. And here you just search. You search for anything you need. It's all here. Okay. And when you go down this advertiser bunny trail, you'll find this playbook as well. YouTube also offers certification training for a variety of products. Google Ads, Google Analytics. If you're really into the numbers and the advertising and that's your bag, it isn't mine, they could train you on it. And they do have certifications available, literally hundreds of hours of free training. Google Marketing Platform, Google My Business, all about YouTube, and there's a lot more out there. We talked about promoting, now let's talk about sharing. How hard is it to share a video? Now, you've all probably done it. If you ever sent a link to somebody in an email, you've shared a video. Email's one way, websites, email distributions, forums. I participated in a few forums. One of them's Above Top Secret. Another one is Project Avalon. You know, these are forums where all the people who are interested in my topic matter hang out. So I'll go out there and promote my videos there. Facebook. Anybody on Facebook? Right, put it on Facebook. That's a way to get more views. We were talking about how do you build an audience? How do you get more views? This is a part of it. Out of the 24,000 some odd subscribers I have, that body of people represents only 5% of all my viewers. Less than 5%. The remainder is all based on viral. The sun never sets on viewership on all the views that I'm getting. It's from people who aren't even subscribed to my channel. That's pretty common. So promote, share. And the fourth item, the last item on the basics, is to engage. Post comments. So do you watch videos on YouTube? See something you like, you got something to say, post a comment. Remember, when you're log in, you actually have to have a YouTube account in order to leave a comment on a YouTube video. When you do, remember that little icon follows you wherever you go. Leave something there inspiring, express yourself, be genuine about whatever it is you're sharing. You want to reply to the comments that you post. We'll get to this in a second. If somebody's posting comments onto your channel, reply to them. These are your viewers. These are potential subscribers. Share as much or as little as you want. I was asked once, how long does it take to do YouTube? How much time do I have to put into YouTube? As much or as little as you want. I tend to be, little. So you set a time where you can go through your comments. With 24,000 subscribers, I'm getting maybe 5 or 6 comments a day. It's not a lot. It's easily manageable. But that little bit of goodwill that you put in, and by responding to every single comment that comes into you, will pay off in dividends, I believe. In selling your brand. I've had a lot of people tell me that they really trust me because I'm there responding to them. And usually I'm in there pretty quick because I like YouTube. I really enjoy it. I've made a lot of friends on YouTube. I've had a lot of really positive experiences with it. Now, there's some trolls out there. Well, you guys, have thick skin. When you do this, have thick skin. There are people out there who are just out there to ruin the world. And the way you handle them on the back end, you can easily delete their comments. And if they're being particularly nasty, block them. They can never post on your channel again. If you look at all the comments on my channel, you won't find any really nasty attacks because I make sure my wall stays clean. It's okay to disagree with me. Let's have an intelligent conversation. But if you're going to come at me with attacks, I have no tolerance for that. I don't have time for it.
So you just remove the attacks? Or?
Yeah, you can delete. You can delete the comments. The question was, so you can remove the attack? Yes, you can delete the comment, and then you can go to their channel and block them. Okay. Yeah, you can absolutely block them. You want to see how it's done? Sure. Good. Okay. All right, so let's say, all right, let's jump into, all right, so let me come over here. So the way that you get to the YouTube studio is from here. You click on your icon.
Hi, and welcome to Search for Truth
Shut
Reality.
up, I like to talk too much, all right. I talk to my computers. All right, so here's the YouTube Studio Beta right here, all right? You click on that icon in the upper right corner, and you click on YouTube Studio Beta. This will provide you an interface from which to do all your commenting. So come down here, dashboard, videos, analytics, comments. So here we have the comments. Easily reply here. You can remove, report as spam, hide from channel, always approve comments from this user, add this user as a comment moderator. I do not use comment moderators. So it's all right there at your fingertips. It used to be under the old version. You would have to go to the channel. So I would have to go to this guy, open up his channel, and I simply right-clicked on his picture and chose, open in a new tab. That brings me to a new tab. I would have to go over here to About, click on this little flag, block user. He will never be able to comment on your channel ever again. Pretty cool, yeah? It's good stuff. These people aren't worth your time. If they're going to be nasty, really don't. I used to try to convert them. I'd be there for hours. I'm really a nice guy, whatever it is. And somebody, it's not worth it. Think about this. Some of them are bots. You go to their channel, they've got no videos posted. It's been in existence for a day or two. All right. So anyway, that's the interface there. All right. So getting back to my crazy world, the crazy wide world of Walter. Dr. Robert Wood worked for Douglas Aircraft, and he's literally a rocket scientist. He designed and constructed cooling systems for missiles. The late William Mills Tompkins was a draftsman for Douglas Aircraft at the same time that Dr. Robert Wood was there. William Tompkins' claim to fame is that he worked with extraterrestrials at Douglas Aircraft. He is the one who pitched to NASA the solutions for the Apollo mission, and he did it with the help of extraterrestrials. During this interview with him, we got into the Apollo 11 moon landing. He talked about some of the things that happened during that landing. The point I'm going to make about this has to do with engagement.
Walter's asking a very specific question. With the timing, was the Freemason ceremony before, after the small step for mankind?
No, it was before. The first thing that was done was the Freemason.
The
two things.
In the craft or on the moon?
On the surface of the moon.
It just keeps getting worse, better. I don't know. It's just.
No, wait a minute. You put the plaque on the dirt, on the soil.
You said next to the structure, so that would.
And then you take all the pictures with them standing by the plaque, okay? Then you separately one of the guys brings the flag down, you stand that up, and then the guys stand by the.
And they climb back up the ladder into the thing, and they do the Neil Armstrong show.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard this?
Never, brand new.
So it's getting worse and better because before that he was talking about reptilians on the moon and how we had help. So it's a pretty wild, crazy story. So here's a wide shot of this. This was a 3-camera shoot. Greg was helping me on this one, Bill. And So here I am, and I thought, this day I probably won't need to bring my dress shoes. My feet will be out of the camera angle, and I never bothered checking the shot. I mean, come on. See what I'm wearing tonight? Yeah. So my leather-soled shoes. And I thought, I made a conscious decision. It's like, all right, I don't need them. I drive to La Jolla. I pick up Bill. I drive to Huntington Beach with Bill, and I set up this shoot. Greg meets there. We shoot it. We do all this. And I'm looking at this thing in post. I'm going, screw it. Nobody will care. Everybody. I couldn't believe the comments I was getting about my shoes. I just posted 3 hours of prime. He's talking about aliens. He's talking about reptilians on the moon. He's talking about the Freemasons on the moon, planting a plaque before Neil Armstrong sets foot on the moon. Are you kidding me? Care about my shoes? So last week was the first significant shoot like this that I've had in a long time. So here I am. You can't see my shoes. They're a little out of frame, but now, this is a crazy story, too, because this guy lives in Ramona. Now, before I interview anybody, I like to meet the people and talk to them, get to know them, and it's like 2 days. I meet him at coffee, we have a nice long conversation. I went out to his house, we talked for 4 hours, but he felt more comfortable. By the time I put that 77 millimeter lens in his face, 3 of them, right, he was good to go, right? So I'm going to polish my shoes. I spent 2 hours taking care of my shoes, got the military spit shine going on them, I want to look great. Got all my gear packed up the night before. All I got to do is grab my suit and go. I'm in the car. I'm 15 minutes down the road, and I want to be on time. And he's like, don't worry. I was 20 minutes late the first time I showed up. Don't worry about it. I always plan 20 minutes later. Nobody ever arrives on time. No, well, I will. 15 minutes down the road, I'm taking a mental inventory. I left my shoes at home. Honey, I forgot my shoes. Can you bring them? So she drove out to get my shoes, and I was only 10 minutes late this time. Anyhow, so that's there's some fun, cool things that happen. This guy was so generous with his time. I mean, when we took a break, he was like, I'm just shaking. Because he had never told his story about his extraterrestrial contacts on live camera before. This was his first time, so I've got a little scoop here. And he was retired all of less than a week when I rolled cameras here. He's a professional lawyer. He worked for the government, civil law. So getting back to the Robert Wood one, if you take a look at these metrics, this didn't perform as well as the guy with the headband on. 3,000 watch minutes, 2,700 watch minutes. This was posted November 14th of 2016. You can see that the average view duration is about 16 to 24 minutes on that. Let's make it a little bit of coin here. That's over time. That's a cumulative amount of money that video has earned since I posted it. How much did it cost me to do that? Not that much. So I made a little bit of money on that. I was happy with it. How are we doing on time? Okay, 5 minutes for questions. All right, so I've got, I've given you a lot of stuff. Do you have any questions at this point? Right here. We got one.
Thank you. Who has a question?
So, Tess, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, sorry. I have stuff. I have licensed music. I have library music, all that stuff. Every single time I put something up to YouTube, they send me a copyright infringement. And I talk to these guys, and they go, recently the industry's gone to where they're consolidators now, and they put the thing on there, and they automatically send you a copyright infringement thing. I said, okay, I bought that music. Make this go away, because I'm sick of having to answer to YouTube, because you got to go to these pages and answer and all these questions they have every single week.
And your question is?
How do you handle it?
How do I handle it? What kind of a notification? Is it a notification where they're saying it's okay, it's going to split the revenue, or is it a strike?
No,
Is that a takedown notice?
No, they say it's a copyright infringement, and we're going to put ads in, in front of your videos, and we're going to send the monies to the people that own that copyright.
All right. So, is your channel monetized at this point for yourself?
No.
Okay. So for you, you still get to use it. That's one of those situations where the owner, the copyright, is going to make some money on that off the. It's not a strike against you.
No, it's not a strike against me, but I own that music, and they should not be getting money. They should not be running ads on there to make money.
I had a similar thing with my brother. He was working through CD Baby. He had all of his copyright managed through CD Baby, and I got the same kind of notification. Like, wait a minute, you gave me written permission. And I went round and round with them, like that. In fact, about a week and a half ago, YouTube Creator Insider was talking about the new warning situation. I wrote 2 paragraphs about that very situation. I've gotten no response.
That's what I was getting.
Yeah, no response.
I have a question. There, I guess. Is it working? Okay. Yeah.
I have a comment on music.
Okay, sure. Test, test, test. Which one is this? Test, test. That's him. That's it. There we go.
Thanks. Are we on?
Yeah.
Okay. In regards to music, when you get a music library, you are purchasing performance rights, not copyright. So the owner of the library still owns the copyright to the music. You own the performing rights to the music, which allows you to place it against video or whatever you're using it for. What library were you using?
It's called Opus. Well, it's not a library.
Yeah,
individual tracks. Opus.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you're purchasing, when you buy rights to that music from Opus, just like Fresh Music or Digital Juice or any of the other libraries out there, you're actually purchasing the performing rights to the music. ASCAP or BMI still control the copyright, and that's what YouTube is flagging you for. That's why they're putting the ads in front.
Let's get back to YouTube. I do have a question about monetizing, and I understand you can set up a situation where you can take donations. Can you comment on that?
YouTube has a nonprofit flavor of, wow.
That's either me or you or something. Sorry. There, you should go there.
Okay. So YouTube does have a flavor of YouTube called the YouTube Partner Program. They do have a nonprofit YouTube Partner Program for people who are raising funds. So that may be what you're looking at, what you're considering for doing donations.
You think it has to be nonprofit though?
Yeah. I mean, if you're a nonprofit, you can go to YouTube and say we want to raise, collect donations for. I don't think you can solicit. Last time I read, now my memory's maybe a little foggy here. It's not really in my wheelhouse. But when I was researching about all the different ways of making money, the thing that really stood out for me was the YouTube Partner Program for nonprofits. There was nothing in there that said anything about donating, asking for donations, like your, crowdfunding. Take crowdfunding. What you can do is you can use a crowdfunding and associate that with your YouTube, which is what I have. So I have like a Patreon page, which I can take donations, contributions.
Talk about that a little bit, because there is, I mean, some people may be in a situation, that would make their situation work. I mean, I have a politically motivated piece that I think people would want to support. So you said Patreon, is that what you said?
So YouTube has a huge list of approved crowdfunding websites that you can use, and it's out there in the help section, and it's a huge list. One of them is Patreon. I use Patreon because I had some of my viewers saying, we want to give you some money. How do we do it? I don't want to go through Google. Here's Patreon, and now they contribute. So I get a little bit of money every month based on these awards that I offer, and I offer things like, 7 days advance viewership of all the videos I post, and 7 days advance listening for the MP3 version of the same video, things like that. So
I see. Okay.
Being able to have a conversation with Walter, the creator, this sort of thing.
So basically you use Patreon as a link, and you tell your viewers, if you would like to support our efforts, this is how you do it.
Exactly. So let me show you the.
That's important.
I'll show you what it looks like right here. So here's the page. See this right here?
Uh-huh.
That's a link right to my Patreon page.
Okay.
So you can customize your.
Welcome to Search for Truth.
You can customize this field here with I think up to 3 websites. I put Patreon here. If you have a website, you can put that up here as well. So you have like 3 different links up there to other things that that are approved by YouTube.
Okay.
So you can go to your own website. You can go to Patreon. You can go to.
So you could
something
do
else.
you could do promos at different times, sprinkle those in with your
Right.
work,
Right.
pointing out how to support your effort.
Yeah, you want to kind of temper that with your other content. You don't want to be
Sure.
want to be in
Oh,
every
yeah.
single video, hitting them up for some kind of donation.
I have
all the
seen
while-
many people, though, that really hit subscribe in order to get their subscribers. It's built into their content.
So you might have, this is one thing that the video creators, this guide he talks about, people will create videos that have too many goals in them. That's one of them. They want you to donate to their Patreon. They want you to subscribe. They want you to do this. You want you to do that. Make it one thing at a time.
Sure.
Do one thing. Have one being about going to Patreon. Have one thing about subscribing. Have one thing just being a little segment, a low production quality segment on you going about your daily stuff. Maybe just a thought you have, kind of like, Facebook Live. You do these little things
Like a
on
look
YouTube
behind the
too.
scenes kind of a thing,
Mhm.
almost, a little
Yeah.
more personal. And I think that's something to take in stock. You have your main programming, but there's angles upon your programming that I really think you need to do in order to promote your main programming.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
With Patreon, you can add like extra features kind of for your Patreon, like the people who, give you money that way, you can add like an extra video or give them like exclusive things.
Yes, you can. Yeah, you do offer. You get to decide what kinds of things you want to offer as benefits to your patrons. Like I said, I have donate $1 and get ad blocking absolution. That's a common one. $2 and you get something else. $5 and something else. And Patreon's really good about giving you training as well on some of the things that work for other pages. And you want to do something that's not going to take a lot of your time. This is getting into the weeds about how to do it. But yeah, you can decide what you want to set as your benefit levels. Absolutely.
How many channels can you have? Because if I've got my personal channel and I just want friends and family, how do I create additional channels that have something like this going?
Excellent question. How many email addresses do you have?
How many Gmail accounts do you need?
Yeah, all you need,
Many
you
as
just
want.
need one email address per account.
Yeah, a couple of questions actually. You were talking about when you were doing a possibility of a sponsorship, so like you're wearing some duds or something.
Right.
Is there an expected amount that somebody who's going to be, is there like an industry standard that they expect to be asked for a sponsorship? Question number one. Question number two, real quick. And what's the longevity of the amount of money that you get when you do this? Is it like a royalty thing, or is it just fizzle out as viewership drops? How does that work?
So you put on your business hat. Is there an industry standard? No. I mean, is there an industry standard for pricing? How much you're going to charge for production? You want to take a look at, well, how much it's going to cost to create this production for them, right? Maybe let's take Nordstrom's, for example. Let's say I want to display my suit. My pitch to Nordstrom might be, I will feature your clothing in my 1-hour video, and I'll change clothing 3 times throughout. And for this amount, well, let's see, how much it's going to cost me to make this thing? Maybe $1,000. So you travel, we got to pay this guy, pay that guy. Then you put a buffer in there. It's like goes with anything else, on how much you want to charge to make some money. Longevity, as far as longevity is concerned, you might have, depending on what your theme is, you might have a sponsor who's right up your alley. Let's take flying saucers, for example. I had a lot of stuff in there regarding machinery, machining, CNC devices, 3D printing, things like that. Maybe a 3D printer wants to sponsor me. Longevity. Well, if I'm featuring on my channel information about 3D printing on every single episode, the longevity potential is pretty long, isn't it? If I keep switching gears and I'm going to flying saucers, to flat Earth, to hollow Earth, to lizards on the moon, then I'm back to flying saucers again. My longevity is going to be as good. So if I want a onesie-twosie thing, clothing is pretty standard. I'm always sitting in front of a camera. interviewing somebody else who's got a crazy story to tell, that might be good for Walter. Take people who do crafts. You know, they're always, you know, creating something new. They're very creative. That's a huge area there, be it from, you know, materials to tax to stickers to who knows what. That's outside of my wheelhouse, but take a look at your industry. You know, who you catering to. If you're an influencer in their industry, they're going to want to work with you. Did that answer your question? And those are called brand deals, by the way. So that's like outside the realm of the ad revenue that you would earn through YouTube.
So knowing that the topic tonight was about building a profitable channel, have you set up a business entity, or how has that worked for you, and how do you think a lot of YouTubers do the business part of this?
Well, I don't have a business entity set up per se. It was like Walter Noah's head company. It's just me, sole proprietor. That's it. I don't have a need for an LLC at this point. It's just me. So I'm accepting all the risk associated with any production gear that I have to damage. It's on me, that sort of thing. So as far as making a profitable one, when you start engaging with brands, you know, and you're doing larger productions, then absolutely, I would definitely have an LLC to get going.
Become a business
like absolutely,
entity
100%.
at that point.
Yep. Does YouTube 1099 mean? Have I made enough to be 1099?
Right, because PayPal's 20,000.
Yeah, you know what? Yes, I think so. My wife handles the taxes on that, so yeah. I'm pretty sure they do. You know, for 1099s, if you're earning $600 or more, you have to be 1099. So, yeah, I know that we do take my income and we put it on our personal income taxes.
Any other questions?
There's one over here.
All right, looks like we've got time for one more. Let's get you the mic.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, that's really loud. So I'm trying to start a YouTube video as a film worker and kind of showing like BTS and stuff like that. So as like if you're marketing yourself, where do you draw the line between like personal and like too personal, like TMI?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, you're going to have to kind of use your own guidance on that. What do you feel most comfortable with? If it's the sort of thing that's making you nervous, you might want to kind of reserve judgment on that before you open yourself up too much, because there are a lot of crazy people out there. I have been very careful about the sorts of things I put out there publicly. There's things that I don't share.
Last.
I just want to comment.
Oh, okay.
If I could also offer about how much you expose of yourself online. My YouTube videos, the production quality is rubbish. However, one of the things I'm personally very careful about is I don't talk about my personal life. I just don't talk about anything personal, because that to me is not for public consumption. I talk about, of course my channel is about makeup, and I keep it strictly to that. As far as my audience knows, if they don't know me personally, my audience and my viewers and my subscribers, they don't know that I'm married. They don't know that I have a cat. They don't know that I have friends. They don't know that I have a life outside of that camera. And if you're first going on, and we've all heard the horror stories, I know lots of people in the makeup community, they do videos and they get like the worst comments from people trolling them. Nasty, personal, demeaning, demoralizing comments. And so I believe in protecting oneself, especially if you put yourself out there on YouTube. It does become public. You can never fully erase those videos. As soon as you publish, people are taking video grabs.
Oh.
They are taking the URL. I mean, people will storehouse that information. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to make you aware of what's out there. And your best policy is to not reveal personal information.
Don't tell them where you live.
The most
That's
personal
right.
I get is, I live in San Diego, California. I'm a Southern Californian.
SoCal, I'm from SoCal.
That sort of thing.
Good, thank you.
Thanks, Phoenix.
Anything else?
All right, I think we need to actually wrap it up so that we've got time for our, what we like to call the crapple tonight. Walter, thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Walter.
for
Everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
all of these details. I see your contact information is here on the screen, walter@clandestinedisclosure.com.
Get
If
your raffle
you're-
tickets handy?
If you're willing to share some or all of your slides, we could post those as resources on the SD Media Pros page. So,
Yeah, leave it, just leave it up there. There we go. Okay.
who has the raffle
Here we go.
tickets? The tickets are in the box.
Kevin Marty.
All right.
So we got some fun stuff. Here we go.
Does everybody get a raffle ticket?
Yeah, get your raffle ticket handy.
Good? Okay.
So how about a T-shirt? A beautiful T-shirt from this guy, sharegrid.com.
Kevin, you picking or me?
You can pick. I'll hold.
You hold the cup.
There you go.
All right.
Just last four numbers.
Digging down to the bottom.